This is my Patron personal healing event for July 2021. So I trust this message, this video, this connection, I trust it finds you well and you're having a good day and you're feeling okay, or a bit better than okay. That would be great. But if you're not, I trust that you're doing okay today. So this particular healing event is especially for some of my Temple of Balance patrons. So I have 5 people on my list today, and I've popped your or their names here in this little pot, and I'm going to pull them out and focus on with these people for about 10 minutes each. So I'll be tuning in and be working with my healing energy cards as well, and I'll be tuning in as I connect with each person and bring through whatever is loudest in that person's energy, or in yours if you're one of those people. So the way I work is a bit hard to explain, but I think the best way to describe it is that and it's nothing special, I'm sure we can all do this, is that when I'm thinking of someone, or what I call tuning in, which is very subtle and easy for me to do now because I've been doing it for a long time. When I tune in, I connect with that person. Sometimes just even the intention connects me in straight away. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but it usually happens pretty quickly. And then whatever's loudest in that person's energy, I will then pick up. So whatever's loudest, I'm going to pick up first, and then I will do my best to explain and interpret the energy that I'm picking up. The way that I work is that I'm very sensitive to energy in my body. So it might sound a bit weird, but I know my body really well. So I know what makes up my body. I know how my body usually feels. So when I'm tuning into someone, I feel shifts and changes in my body that I know is not my typical way of feeling, or a typical sensation that I would have in my body. So become very acute and very sensitive in my body as I'm tuning in. And that's part of the way I pick up the energy, and then I've got to work out how to interpret it, which has taken a lot of practice over the years. Sometimes I get visuals as well, or flashes, or other things, subtle energy that pulls me to whatever's loudest in that person's energy. And then I move through by talking through what I'm sensing, even if it's strange. And sometimes at the beginning, or sometimes at certain points, there will be like the energy will be a bit slow. So sometimes, I might get a flash of a boot or something weird, and then I've got to feel on that and work out, or figure out, what's this boot mean. That's just a very loose example. So sometimes the energy is a bit slow like that, but other times, in fact probably mostly, it comes in pretty quickly. And as soon as I have finished that connection, so as soon as that energy's over, it will subside. It almost just comes to a halt, just like what happens when I'm drawing, when I'm doing spirit guide drawings or healing art. It almost always just, like, I'm drawing away, and then just suddenly it's done. It's just like nothing else is there. And it's a bit the same like that too when I'm connecting in healing wise or energetically like this. And then I don't take on other people's stuff, because I have very, very strong boundaries that I don't do that. So I finish up in my little ways by pulling another card. That's a way of sort of closing that energy or connection off, and then my focus moves to the next person. It works for me. It doesn't drain me. In fact, connecting with people shouldn't really drain you or me. It shouldn't be draining. It actually should be quite energizing. So that's kind of the way I work, just very loosely. But I think we're going to get started. So now, if you're one of the people on my list today, I look forward to connecting with you, and I want to thank you so much for your support so that I can connect with you in this way. I'm very, very honoured. If you're not on the list, or you're waiting for your turn, what I would be doing if I was waiting, or if I was just here because I happen to be here and you might not be on the list, it's okay, because I really feel that we're all led to places for a reason. And I'm always getting emails, and have for years, about the timing of things. So if you are led here and you feel drawn to stay and you have time to stay, or you're waiting for your name to be picked here, then what I would be doing is I'd be making sure I'm really open to receiving what I need. So I'd be listening to what sort of feels right or resonates with me. I'd be allowing my heart and my body to be really open, and allowing myself to feel what I need to feel at this time. So notice the little bits and pieces of things that really stand out and that speak to you and seem like it's a personal thing for you too, because I'm sure it's no accident. So this could be a very healing time for you too, if you're not one of these people. So let's see who's first. First up today is Carol White. Carol, welcome. Take a nice big breath and let us see which healing energy card you need today, and then we'll tune in a bit further. Okay, so the first thing I'm picking up already is a heavy energy, almost a ringing feeling here at the back of the neck, especially on the right side. So it feels like a ringing, you know, like we wring out a cloth or something. It feels very tight and twisting in there. Let's just grab a card and then we'll look further into that if we need to, which we probably will. Your card is this, card 35, called the Flow of Love. And if you're used to my healing energy cards and working with them, card 35 used to be called Healing Guide, and it has changed into this Flow of Love. It says open to the flow of love and allow it to guide you with everything. You can trust in your natural rhythm as you move deeper into yourself. So what I'm feeling with that, it's very much talking about a flow. Like it feels to me like a waterfall, or a small little pond that's overflowing and water is moving out of that pond. So there feels to be movement like water is what I'm feeling. So Carol, take a nice big breath. And I'm still feeling this ringing feeling here in the back of your neck. So it really feels like it's really been tightly twisted, and like all juices, all energy, even perhaps all life force is being just twisted and squeezed out of you. That feels like it's through here. Now this energy through here feels like a burden or a weight that you're carrying at the moment, which usually is felt over the shoulders, but because this is at the back of the neck, this is most likely connected with a current issue that is being triggering old energy from the past. It's most likely connected with your voice, communication, expressing yourself, and the truth of who you are. And there is this feeling, it feels like if you'd been crying a lot of tears, like a river of tears lately, and there was, you know, crying like a waterfall, you know, it feels like a big gush of emotion that's been coming out, and it's like crying over the top of a towel, and the towel, if you pick it up, it's just dripping wet, like it's been sitting outside under the rain. And it just feels like that has been picked up and has been wrung out dry. And it might even feel like, you know, almost like you're a bit numb, like you feel like you could cry, but nothing's coming out anymore. It's almost like you've cried a river of tears, probably in these last couple of weeks. So it's like you're dried up for tears now. And I feel like the energy has shifted. So instead of being that sort of intense, very full, watery, overflowing, emotional energy, it's shifting into more of perhaps a mental energy, which is why, and I get that feeling because it's dried up. So that dry energy tends to, in my interpretations, connects with the mind, and very wet energy tends to connect with emotion. So what it feels to me is like the emotional state that was probably quite intense, like this big cauldron just boiling and brewing and bubbling over. It feels like the energy of that has moved into more of a mental energy, which is likely mental burden that you're carrying at the back of your neck. So let's just see. And there's also old energy that's shifting here in your lower back. and it feels like there's almost like a punch or a push or something that's taken you by surprise. I can almost feel the knuckles coming into the back of your lower back, and it feels quite bony and quite sharp in a way, but not sharp like a knife. So more like very sharp but not cutting sharp bones, that like a knuckles pushing on your lower back, trying to push you out of yourself, but actually that it's trying to push you into yourself. And it feels like there's like shadows of you that are walking around somehow, like shells of yourself. And that this fist of energy that I feel is trying to push you back into these shelly parts and bring you back together again. So you probably feel a bit like you're wearing yourself thin as well. So I feel like I want to gather all these parts of you back. Some are from the past, some are from other locations where you're not presently occupying with your body, we could say. But I feel like there's about a dozen versions, shells of you that I want to just bring and gather here. So it feels like a gathering and bringing these parts of you, these fragments of you back into your heart and back into yourself. And as I do that, I can feel that pushing, like that knuckle, that fist pushing on your lower back, that actually backs off. And there is a fullness feeling that's coming back up again. So like a full feeling around your body, which feels much nicer. So it feels like you're being filled up with yourself to help you keep going, almost like a refueling. But it's almost like a soul retrieval too, like bringing or calling parts of yourself back to you, back to your body, back into your heart, so that you can continue to function and you can continue to flow as best as you can. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling, Carol. I trust that makes sense. Let's grab a card and see what that wants to add here. So what I would be doing, if this resonates with you, Carol, I would be spending the next day or so just really thinking about or feeling upon that integration between you and these other parts of you, these shells of you, these shadows of you, these past aspects of you, and how you can incorporate or welcome these parts back more completely and more fully into yourself. And I'd also be maybe contemplating how the situation that you're dealing with now, how that's moving out of an intense emotional period and into an intense mental period, because I feel in some way that awareness is going to help you keep your balance, so you don't get to feel like you're getting too wrung out or too overwhelmed or too full of emotion or thought, lower thought. So I trust that helps. Let's grab this card for you just to see what it wants to add as we finish up. Oh, this is card 81 called Traditions, and it says endurance. And that's probably all we really need to read. I'm going to read more, but there is this endurance feeling that you're going to get through what you're going through right now. So even though it feels difficult and it is a struggle and it is a brutal time right now, there is this sense that you will endure it and you will come out the other side like you have many times in the past. So endurance is strong within you. It says wisdom gained, maturity, knowledge, research, elders, patriarch, learning from the past, passing your knowledge and values, stories, and sharing. So it has a very traditional, mature, sort of enduring or standing the test of time. This longevity is the feeling with this particular card. So you're being encouraged really to shift yourself, because this is also a shape-shifting card too. So you might find you have to shift and adjust at the moment so that you can cope, so that you can get through it, so that you can see this through, if you like. So I trust that makes sense. Thank you so much, Carol, and thank you for your support. Namaste. Okay, so next, who's next? This person, it's David Magness. David, you're next. Take a nice big breath and let's see which card wants to come up for you. I'm feeling, quite, as I'm tuning in, I'm feeling a bit of a bloated feeling in the belly. So it feels like, what it feels initially like is old emotion that's sitting down in your belly, and there is a heartburn energy too that's starting to come up through the heart. It feels very burny, like very hot, very hot and fiery emotion that's sitting down in your belly that really wants to be expressed. But let's just grab a card. Feels like I'm got about 10 thumbs with these cards as I'm shuffling for you, David. Well, look what we've got. Funny. It's card 81, Traditions again. So again, this talks about endurance. So what are you seeing through as well, David, that you probably wonder if you're going to see this through? There is that reminder again, just like with Carol, that you will, or you do have endurance to see this through. Wisdom gained, maturity, knowledge, research, elders, patriarch, learning from the past, passing of knowledge and values, stories, and share. It's an action card. Okay, so this energy is very strong that's coming in. So it feels like a bloated feeling in your belly, which sits at your sacral chakra. And this bloated feeling feels like, so it feels like a bloatedness, I guess like a pregnant woman, we could say, but that sort of very full bloated energy. And it feels like in the bloated energy of the tummy, it feels very gaseous. So it feels very sort of toxic, a bit greeny and fumy, and like rancid. So it's a bit like, after rain, if we've had a big rain and the puddles on the side of the road have filled with water, and then it doesn't rain for a while, but the water's still there, and the older the water or the longer the water sits without any movement, the more rancid and sort of green and toxic it becomes. And that's sort of what it's feeling here in your belly, David. So it feels like there is water in here, so that tells me old emotions, but there is a very strong gaseous feeling too. So it's like half the capacity would be like stagnant water, and the other half, the space above it, feels like gases that have been brewing and churning and being created by that sort of energy that's been sitting there. So there is a mix of old emotion and also your thoughts, your lower thoughts that are probably tangled up with your emotions right now as well. And it feels like it's been brewing perhaps for a while. And it feels though that this energy wants to move, because the energy doesn't want to be bottled up inside us, whether it's emotion or our fear or lower or small thoughts we might think about ourselves or our life or our situation. That energy doesn't want to sit in our body. It actually wants to move. So to bottle up the energy is, well, it's not very healthy, but also doesn't help the situation or help us be free, I suppose, of the heaviness that we might feel in these sorts of situations. Because I'm getting this strong energy that's pushing up from the belly up into the heart, which feels quite burny. So it feels like a bit like a heartburn that's coming in here. It shows me that energy actually that you've been storing in your belly has actually been quite fiery. So quite hot and spicy and fiery, which may translate to things like anger or frustration or irritation. That's shifting my voice. So that energy that you've probably been squashing down inside you because of whatever reason, I feel like it needs to come up because it's probably having an impact on your body and probably on your balance too. So the energy just wants to move. It wants to be expressed. It wants to be released. And the best way for the energy in the belly to be released or expressed is to pull up through the body, up through the heart, and out through the mouth. So I can feel this energy as it bypasses and burns up your heart a bit. And as you let that out through your words, through your breath, allowing yourself to let go of that old stuff you've been storing inside that has been holding you back. Those old things that you've been holding on to, the old frustrations that you haven't allowed yourself to feel or to acknowledge. So as it passes through your throat, it's also, through your heart, it's also healing some energy here in your heart that feels like it feels like the walls of your heart energetically have become quite thick, like bricks around your heart, like a barrier or a burden or a shutting part of yourself away. So also letting that burny energy as it comes up to also disintegrate or break down that thick wall of energy that you've put around your heart. So allowing that to come up and allowing it to come out. So you might want to keep focusing on that for a little bit if you want to, and perhaps over the next couple of days of imagine that energy in your belly, maybe even put your hands there, take some big deep breaths and feel the energy moving up your body and out through your breath, out through your words, out through your anger. So you might also find, David, that you want to maybe get some paper and write down this core primal anger and frustration and really fiery, hot, spicy energy that you've been feeling and bottling up, and get it out. So building things, doing things, especially physical things, can be also a great way to express that. Dancing around, jumping up and down, screaming your head off in the car, punching a pillow. There's a lot of ways that you can get that energy out. And that's what I'm feeling is going to be really important for you, David. So expressing it in a constructive way that, of course, doesn't harm you or other people, but is purely a way to tap into that energy and express it. And to express is to get it out. It's to unbottle it, if you like, to unstack it up from being stacked up or stacking up inside you. So I trust that resonates, David. Let's grab a card to see what that wants to add here. Okay, so the best card to add is this here. It's this. Oh, it's support, card 50. And it says, through support comes great protection and assistance and a reminder that you are never, ever alone. Love, strength, stamina, and synchronicities. So this also has a masculine feel to it. Through the support of the masculine is where we feel protection, where the support of the feminine is more nurturing. So the protective feeling of the masculine, I wonder, David, if you're looking after yourself, if you're protecting yourself, if you're supporting yourself the way you need it, please know that you do have support around you, that you are not alone as you work through this time and go through your healing process. So thank you so much, David. It's been an honor to connect with you again, and thank you for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's see. I've got 3 more people in here. The next person is this person. It's KantiDevi. KantiDevi Wedad. Take a nice big breath. And I trust everyone who's connecting now, I trust you're all feeling good and that there's something resonating with you that's helpful for you as well. So Kanti, let's see which card you need. Okay. The energy I'm picking up as I start the connection is energy in your hips. So there is part of your soul that wants you to get moving. And I feel a big pull here on the left hip, and especially around the back, sort of a side of the hips, just slightly to the back. So our hips are about movement and direction and action that we're taking. And the left side is usually about stepping out of our past and stepping into what is available now. And it feels like very fertile ground. So let's grab a card, Kanti, and then we'll get the ball rolling. A new vibration, card 38. And it says ground, connect, upgrade, uplift. New vibrations are coming in. So new things. And this is probably that fertile ground I see around you. It says you are the one who must do the action. You must do the nurturing and you must follow through. So there is a sense of accountability and responsibility that is up to you to do the action. It's up to you to nurture and support and to follow through. So I see that there is fertile ground all around you, and it is lush and fertile. It feels like it's full of seeds, but no seeds have sprouted yet. So it's freshly toiled soil and it's lush, and I just want to get my hands into it. It looks amazing. It feels even a bit clayey, but I'm surrounded by clay things here. So this fertile ground, there is something grounding about it. For one, it feels very grounding, very earthy. There is something very enticing about it. So it feels like it pulls, it's got potential somehow. There is something about it that, almost like if we went digging in the dirt, there'd be some treasure to be found. There is something that's pulling to this fertile soil. Yet there feels to be a disconnect between your body and where you are now and this fertile soil. Almost like you're looking down upon it, but you feel maybe a bit detached from it, or you feel, or maybe doubt whether it's possible for you, or there is something that is creating like a wall or a barrier, a disconnect, a detached feeling between you now and this soil. But the soil, it just feels like I could roll around in it. I feel like I could be a pig, and just sort of play in the soil. It feels very enticing and right. So my question would be to you is, what are you resisting about the fertility, the new options, the new beginnings, the opportunities, the groundedness, the potential that is right here, literally at your feet? It's right here. It's not coming. It's not something you've walked past. Like, you're literally in it now. And I've got this feeling that the disconnect is connecting here with this hip energy that I'm feeling. So your hips, like I said, they're about movement and action, being proactive, productive, moving in our life. And the left side tends to be the side that keeps us stuck in the past. And in fact, I can feel your hip and your left shoulder, your left hip, pulling your energy back, trying to hold you back, analyze, work out based on what happened before, how things used to be, how you used to be. I feel like things have changed, and I feel like I just want to shave, like trim off, like grate off your shoulder and your hip, because I feel like they're just like cords, threads that are keeping you pinned back to the past. And that makes it very difficult to connect with what's here before you now and what's right here available at your fingertips, at your feet. So I'm just going to trust that, and I feel like this grating energy, like a cheese slicer, and I just slice off this old energy that runs down your left shoulder, your left hip, and slice a bit of that old energy off. It feels very meaty or cheesy, it's got that sort of consistency, and it just drops as two clunks or chunks of cheese down to the ground, where it just dissolves now and turns into love, or it turns into that fertility that you're standing on. Because there is fertility, this fertile ground. It's like a blank canvas. You could do anything with this. So with that, your left hip and your left shoulder, they already feel like they just sort of spring, because those little threads, the frayed cords that have been pinning you back there to the past, they have now been cut off. So this energy just springs straight forward into alignment with your right shoulder and your right hip. And now you're standing square on, balanced. Your weight of your body's nice and even on your feet and your legs. And you can now start to sink into this fertile soil, to sink into it. And that's what I'm feeling is really important for now, is this almost a sense like it becomes quicksand and you drop down very slowly or perhaps very quickly, but just lowering yourself down into the fertile soil and see what this contains. What seeds have been planted long ago that are getting ready to sprout for you in your life. What action do you need to take? So very interesting indeed, Kanti. See how that feels. And I will pull a card here to see what it wants to add. So the best card for this or that, this or that, is this. This card is this. What is this? It is Emotional Healing, card 8. Actually, this is interesting. It says holding in the eye of the storm, keeping your center, which is basically what we've done. I'll just slice some old energy off and helped you return back to center. It says separating the wheat from the chaff, which is very farmy. It's very plant orientated, which is what you're standing in this fertile ground. So is there stuff you need to separate here? Do you need to separate the wheat from the chaff? Do you need to separate the good from the not so good, or the stuff that's important with the stuff that's just not important? It says movement, motion, emotions, and listening to how you feel. So there is movement in this, but it almost feels like you're holding here in your center within the fertile soil that is almost like this vortex that's vortexing all around you from the ground and then all the way up through your body, like you're standing in your very own tornado or little whirlwind thing. And the energy is moving very quickly. There are little seeds in here, which is also very connected. Little seeds here that are also up in the air. But where are they going to land? Where are they going to land? Can you just let them land where they're going to? And then work with that energy. Interesting. Thank you, Kanti. Thank you for your support. It's always lovely connecting with you. Namaste. Okay. We've got 2 more people left. Next is, let's go with this person here. It's Carlee Chirichiello. Let's see which card you need and what's going on for you. Okay, we had one fly out, which I just look at. I don't use. It's very rare. I use one that flies out because I trust in the way I pull my cards. And I trust the best card will come to the top for you, Carlee. Okay, so what I'm feeling is energy moving in between your shoulder blades and almost like a constriction in there that wants to burst out and push open your shoulder blades. They feel very tight and almost fused back there. So let's just grab a card and then we'll tap further into it. So we have this card for you, Carlee. What is it? These are new for me too, some of them. It's card 95, called Riding the Wave. It says a wave of chaos and change. Ride it. Do your best. Take a break if or when you need to. The storm always passes. Take action on the facts. The facts, and don't make assumptions, and flow. So just take action on the facts that are being presented to you, rather than assuming the worst before you have all of the information. So that's a really important element of this card. But riding the wave, almost the wave of chaos. Okay, so let's tune in here for you, Carlee. Okay, so this fused together energy over your shoulder blades. I'm just feeling into it to see if I can describe it in a better way. It almost feels like 2 pieces of metal that are slightly curved or molded to your shoulder blades have been fused or welded together. And this feels rusty, so it feels old. It's also sitting on the back part of your body, so it also connects with the past. It's also sitting at the back of your heart. So it is likely connected with old energy from your heart that's very much connected with the past. So being at the back and being rusty in appearance makes me feel that it's connected with the past. It almost feels like it's heavy, like a anchor or a weight, and it's just trying to pull you back, almost like drop you to the ground or drop you to your knees, like test after test, but you still stay upright. But gosh, it feels so heavy. It feels like the leaning back, the actual weight of this energetically is so heavy and strong. And it feels like it has an effect here on your middle, not your middle, sorry, your lower back. Feels also like there's strain here. So from the weight of this energetically, it's also bringing up a strain of energy across your lower back, which connects with your sacral chakra, but the back of it. So it's the past emotions that are also likely being stirred or are connected at least with this energy, these plates over your shoulder blades. What I feel, and I felt like this from the start and I still feel it now, I want to actually somehow remove the weld, get these plates open and off your shoulder blades to open this area up for healing. It almost feels like a part of this has been locked away, like shut away in an old back room, maybe for a rainy day, but maybe not, maybe just to hope that if it's ignored it will go away. But there is this feeling that it's like a closet of skeletons kind of thing. So it feels like it's old, very old, most likely from your past, maybe even past lives. These are sort of like the skeletons in your own closet, and they might even be skeletons that you don't even know about consciously at this time. But I feel like it's this stuff, and whatever this is connected with, has been really tucked away in the very back room of your essence, of your being, and they really are like skeletons in the closet. So I do feel that as we open this area up, it's probably going to let out those skeletons, if you like, and you might find over the next couple of days, maybe even the next week or so, that there is like this almost like, I get this visual of like skeletons rising up from the grave sort of thing. So, you know, it's quite dark, quite shadowy, and maybe even quite fearful. I'm feeling a bit of fear and resistance coming up now in the belly and in the solar plexus. So it might be a bit uncomfortable to explore, but I know what the energy does, and I trust that this wouldn't be revealing itself if you actually weren't ready. If this needed to stay hidden in the back room of the, you know, as far away as possible, and the door locked up, you know, in the far reaches of your being, then it would not be shown to me now. So I have to trust that if I'm seeing and sensing this, that actually you are ready to let the skeletons out, to stop having that part of you that shut away, that's holding you back and that's affecting you, probably without you realizing that it actually stems from there. But I feel like these skeletons, it's like they're still rattling around in this cupboard somewhere, and it feels like they've been stirring. They haven't gone away at all. Out of sight, out of mind is not appropriate here. So okay, and there's energy now moving your throat. So there is this feeling of wondering if it's safe for you, wondering if it's safe enough for you to be yourself, and maybe a suppression of who you are in the past, which is also bringing up too in your middle back some old feelings of powerlessness. So when you felt small and you shut a part of yourself away, because it actually feels like these skeletons in the closet, a bit like when we connected with Carol before and I brought those shadows and shells of herself back. I actually feel these skeletons are part of you. I actually feel like these are versions, or perhaps is just one version of you that you shut away a long time ago. And that's stirring up energy in the throat when you were suppressed and you were shut away and you were shut down. So as a way to survive, you shut that part of yourself away and have been trying to ignore it ever since, is the feeling. But actually now I look closer at this rattling cupboard with skeletons trying to get out, or skeleton bones trying to rise up from the grave. As I tune in further, I feel this is a part of you, like your inner child, that has been trapped away for its safety. But I feel that the healing and the time of this must be right for you to get to know yourself better and to heal this part of you and welcome it home. So as I talk about this, I can feel this door over here in this wardrobe where the skeletons have been making noise and rattling around. This door actually starts open with a little squeak of the door, and I see this little head which looks like you're in a child, and this little head is peeking out from this very dark cupboard, curious, seeing if it's safe, checking on the surroundings. And I entice it out. I entice her out. She pushes the door open further because all she wants to do, she just wants to be with you. So she wants to reunite with you because you are where she belongs. She doesn't belong being ignored and shut away. But she needed to go there to survive and for her safety. So it's now safe for her to be able to come out. And she's very curious and inquisitive, and she comes out of this little room, and as she steps out of the room, and there's no need to have the room there now, the room just vanishes. And this little girl now, she walks down here across to you on the right side, and she's very short, she's very young and very pretty. She's got her favourite hair, it feels like little hair ribbons in, maybe pigtails or little plaits, and she's in her favourite dress. She's been waiting for this day to reunite and return home to you. So I feel you putting your hand down, your right hand down by your side and grabbing her hand. I mean gently, not grabbing, but just gently holding her hand in a loving way. There's a lot of energy coming out the right hand now as this healing now comes out from you and into her, but also out from her and into you. As you heal each other, as you embrace your inner child. So you've now got a new friend to walk around and hang around with you. Now this action that we've actually just taken has automatically opened up this area at the back of your shoulder blades that felt like those two panels of metal welded at your back. So the action that we've done has actually moved that, opened that, and that energy is not there now. So the back of your heart has opened, and further energy is shifting in your body too, in your throat, in your belly, in your lower back, and also in your middle back. So over the next couple of days, Carlee, you might find that you feel like you have this little shadow with you, or this part of yourself that you're wanting to get to know again. You might even want to go through old photo albums and look at your little photos of you when you were a child, or this sort of thing, to really get to know this part of yourself again. You may even want to be playful, to play with her, because she represents your playful side. So she is safe, she's protected, and she has reunited back with you, which is really special. So I trust this resonates, Carlee, and thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you. Let's grab a card just to finish this off. See what it wants to add. We have this. Card 43. 43 minutes and 34 seconds, just as I looked over. 43. I am expanding. It says your light is expanding, not your lower ego demanding. Release who you are for what you could become. Opportunities and your higher self. So this is lightening your energy. This is allowing the baggage that you've been carrying, the shadows that you've been keeping, the skeletons that have been in your closet. It's allowing those to come out into the light and for you to experience healing now. So there is a lightness, there is an expansion with this card, and that feeling of heaviness being replaced with lightness. So thank you so much, Carlee. I trust this resonates, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's grab a drink and then I'll connect with our last person. And the last person is Susan. Susan Sonsteng. So Susan, take a nice big breath. And if you're watching and you would love to be a part of this next month, I do these at the end of every month, then please have a look at my Patreon website or link, or what do you call it? My page on Patreon. You can find the link in the video. And at the $50 level or higher, you have access to this particular resource, plus others. So check it out if you're inspired to. So Susan, take that nice big breath and let's see what comes up for you. Okay, so what I'm feeling at the moment is this pulling down energy, but it doesn't necessarily feel bad. It almost feels like you've just had this really quite heavy big woolen blanket just be put over you, over your shoulders, over your body, and there is this feeling of comfort from it, and also this feeling of groundedness, like a nurturing feeling. So I can feel that coming in around you, this big grey woolen blanket, quite weighted, but quite grounding. So your card is this. What is this? This is number 69, and it's called Clearing Vision. It says, open to your soul's vision. I love that. I think I actually did write it. Not I think, I actually did write that, but that feels really touching right now. Open to your soul's vision. Clarity, wake up, clouds parting, gather information, see who you really are and who you want to be. Manifest your dreams. So clearing vision, things are becoming clearer is the feeling that's there, but this opening of your soul, which feels really deep and really beautiful. So as I feel you here sort of huddled in this blanket, it's wrapped up very high around your ears, and your arms are sort of curled up and holding it in place, and you feel quite heavy here as I connect with you, as you sort of lock into the earth. So there's a lot of grounding and a lot of sort of pulling down, sort of feeling like you're made of lead. So that's a very grounded energy that you're receiving now. So lots of grounding, and I feel like it's especially, well, at the moment it's coming into your belly, especially around your navel on the left side. There feels to be a swirling in of this energy that's coming in and bringing you support, and also grounding energy into your sacral chakra. So your emotional center is receiving grounding. So there's a stability as well that I'm feeling with this as things stabilize for you, especially emotionally, and as you let yourself ground, as you let yourself calm down. And I feel like just allowing this space to be as long as you need to. And now I feel like I want to fast forward a little bit, and I see you are ready to now open up to your soul's vision, to wake up and let the clouds part, because I see now like you coming up like this and pushing back this blanket and opening up through this whole front part of your body, which before didn't feel closed, but it felt like it was being very protected and very perhaps nurtured as well, looked after, supported. Because as you're ready now, opening this up, this opens up all through the chest and the front of your body. That energy that was coming in before into your sacral chakra, into your belly, has also shifted. So all this opening feeling is coming in now as you drop this blanket down and you're ready. It feels like you're ready for action. You're ready to open up and bare your soul. And there is this kind of confidence in this too, even though you might not know what you're doing, or you might feel like you're sort of flailing around a little bit sometimes, but there is this sense of confidence in this almost breakthrough, or this movement that you've made, this adjustment that you've made, allowing your whole heart, your whole front to open up, your back straightened up, and there's a feeling of strength now as you stand tall and strong, almost like a soldier, standing really tall and strong, and ready to focus on your vision and ready to move forward. And I feel like binoculars, so really honing in on the direction that you want to go, or the next step for you, or your action plan, or whatever it is that becomes clear. I feel like focusing on that, because I get this binocular feeling, but I feel like you're really honing in and you're really refining your focus in regards to what you want and how you're going to get there. So this clarity is so strong, and this opening feeling. There's energy moving too around your the base of your spine, around your tailbone. So I feel like maybe some insecurities or issues you've had around your survival, or your grounding too, your physicality, is shifting through here. So that burst of confidence and strength that you're moving into, you might not even quite feel it yet, but as you move out of that cave sort of feeling and open up and move forward in a stronger, soldier-like, tall, confident manner, I feel like it does shift this old energy, or this stuff that's been stirring in your tailbone about your survival. So focus on what you need to focus on. And it doesn't have to be pie in the sky thing. It could be just a simple daily dedication, only because I've been doing them since May, and they're quite helpful as an anchor point each day. So I find those very helpful. But it feels to be like, something like that will help give you the focus or the honing in. It could be something very simple like that, or something quite detailed and specific. But I feel like that vision of focusing with your binoculars energetically will help give you the strength and the confidence that you need to keep going. So it feels very exciting. I trust that makes sense, Susan. Let's see which card that we want to add here, which is the best card for you to finish this off. Okay, best card. Oopsie. Okay, let's go with this card here. See what this wants to add. Spiral of Grace, our old friend, card 24. And it says, lifting out of karmic patterns, old wounds and the past. Well, this is lifting out, is like that visual of the blanket. Not that the blanket was bad, but I feel like the blanket was needed for healing, grounding, nourishing, that sort of thing, maybe a bit of privacy. But this feeling of coming out of that. So this is exactly what this card's about. It's about lifting out of your karmic patterns, your old wounds, your past, transforming fear into love, or transforming that closed off, grounded, quiet, maybe private space into a bit more of flamboyance sort of energy, it feels like, in comparison. It says, let the past go, lighten your load, and release separation issues. So this is about moving out of the grind, out of the triggers, the patterns of your past, and the painful things that you go through in your life that keep repeating themselves. So this is lifting up out of that wheel of karma, we could say, and up into the spiral of grace. So really, it's like existing on a new plane or a new dimension, a new reality sort of for ourselves, where we see things in our life, or we move through things that in a different sort of way. It's what happens as we heal, as we do our self-healing, it changes us. So then things that used to worry us or trigger us, or we were scared of or reacted to before, don't even come into our scope of awareness as we heal them. So we're literally transforming ourselves when we do that, and that's what this card's about. So it's like breaking down, we could say, into one card, that whole process of self-healing, when we're really seriously and actively releasing our past, or our heaviness, our burdens, our weight, so that we can lighten that load, or free ourselves, improve ourselves. So this is the process of healing, and I feel like this is what you're going through now. So I trust that something that I've shared resonates with you. Hopefully it resonates with you, Susan. I don't know, because I just got to trust the energy. So I trust it resonates, and whatever phase that you're in, I feel like that, that moving out of that blanket, I feel like that's where you're moving to. So just be patient with yourself if you still feel like you're curled up in that sort of blanket or in the cave, and enjoy your time there, because it feels like you're soon to bear all and open up your soul. So I trust that resonates. Thank you so much, Susan, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody, for connecting. I trust that you've enjoyed your connection if I've connected with you, or if you've just popped in to see what's going on. I trust that you've received something helpful from this time we've spent together today. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of your day. I might see you again soon.